A woman started investing at 43 years old with only $8,000 in her savings account. 22 years later, at age 65, she retired with $720,000 in a tax-advantaged account. At the same time, her coworker started investing at age 25. However, that coworker invested inconsistently for 40 years and retired at 65 with only $350,000. The late starter, with a focused strategy, beat the early starter who had nothing but excuses. It is now 2026, and if you are 45, 50, or even older, you might feel like the window of opportunity has slammed shut. Everyone around you is likely saying that it is too late. They tell you that you should have started 20 years ago and that you will never catch up. They suggest you just accept the reality of working until you are 75. They are wrong. In fact, they are dead wrong. Starting late is not the problem that will destroy your future. Starting without a clear, intense strategy is the real problem. Today, I am breaking down the complete comeback strategy for people starting their journey after the age of 40. These are the exact steps to catch up and retire comfortably, even if you are beginning with $0 today. If you find this information valuable, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel to help us reach more people who need to hear this message. Also, leave a comment below stating your current age and your goal for retirement so we can support each other in this journey. Let us start with the truth that nobody tells you about starting late in the current economy of 2026. The first truth is the mathematical reality of time. You actually have more time than you think you do. The people telling you it is too late are usually doing the math incorrectly, or they are not doing any math at all. They are simply repeating what they heard from other people who never invested a single dollar in their lives. Let us look at the actual numbers for a moment. If you are 45 years old right now and you want to retire at 65, you have 20 years ahead of you. 20 years is not a short period. It is 2 full decades of compound growth. If you can invest $1,000 monthly at an 8% average return over those 20 years, you will end up with over $550,000. When you add Social Security benefits on top of that, you are looking at a very comfortable retirement. It is not too late, and it is not even close to being impossible. What destroys people is the habit of comparing themselves to someone who started at 25. You might think that person has a massive advantage because they have more time. But let us look at what actually happens to most people who start at 25. They often invest sporadically. They panic and sell their holdings during market crashes. They stop contributing when life gets difficult or when they want to buy a luxury item. They start and stop their journey for 40 years, resulting in inconsistent mediocrity. If you start at 45 with intensity and focus, you have a distinct advantage. You invest $1,000 monthly, and you never stop. You never panic because you understand the stakes. 20 years of pure, disciplined execution will beat 40 years of wishy-washy attempts every single time. The difference between success and failure is not time, it is intensity. Early starters have time, but they usually lack a sense of urgency. As a late starter, you do not have unlimited time, so every single month counts. That urgency becomes your greatest financial advantage if you use it correctly. Consider a man who thought he was finished at age 47. He had nothing saved and felt complete despair. When he ran the numbers, he realized he had 18 years until he reached 65. By investing $1,200 monthly, he was able to accumulate $520,000 by retirement. Combined with his Social Security, he achieved a comfortable life without the constant fear of poverty. His late start did not matter because his finish was focused. You cannot invest in the year 1995 anymore. You can only invest in the year 2026. 20 years from now, you will be 65 years old, regardless of what you do today. The only question is whether you want to be broke or comfortable when you get there. The first actual step in this comeback strategy is non-negotiable. You must eliminate all consumer debt immediately. There are no negotiations and no middle ground here. Before you invest a single dollar into the stock market, you must eliminate every penny of high-interest debt. This includes credit cards, personal loans, and car payments. I am not talking about working on it slowly or paying a little extra each month. I am talking about a scorched earth approach, where every available dollar attacks your debt until it is gone. In 2026, interest rates on credit cards have remained high, often exceeding 20%. If you are carrying $15,000 in credit card debt at 20% interest, you are paying $3,000 a year just to stay in debt. That is $3,000 of your hard-earned wealth being incinerated every single year. Imagine if that $3,000 was invested for 20 years at an 8% return. That would be over $140,000 of future wealth that you are giving away to the banks. At age 25, debt is a burden, but you have decades to recover from your mistakes. At age 45 or 50, you have a much shorter window to build your entire retirement nest egg. Every single dollar matters more now than it ever did before. Every dollar going toward interest payments is a dollar that is not compounding for your future. You must adopt a zero-tolerance policy for debt. Either the debt gets eliminated or a comfortable retirement does not happen. The math is very simple and very brutal. You can either pay off your debt fast and invest aggressively, or you can stay in debt and keep working until you are 80 years old. The best strategy is to spend the next 12 to 18 months in a state of financial warfare. Use the avalanche method, where you destroy the debt with the highest interest rate first. Live on the bare minimum and redirect every bonus, every tax refund, and every extra bit of income toward your debt. Once the debt is gone, the magic happens. That money that was previously going to the banks can now go straight into your investments. You were already living without that money, so keep living that way while your wealth grows. A woman at age 44 was paying nearly $1,000 a month just to service her consumer debt. She realized she could not waste another month and went on a nuclear budget for 14 months. After clearing her debt, she redirected that $1,000 a month into an index fund. 20 years later, that redirected debt payment had become nearly $500,000. Eliminating her debt in her 40s literally created her entire retirement. The next step is to take advantage of the legal benefits provided for people over the age of 50. The government understands that many people start late, so they created catch-up contributions. In 2026, these limits are more important than ever. If you are 50 or older, you are allowed to put extra money into your retirement accounts that younger people cannot access. For a 401k plan, the standard limit is $23,000, but you get an extra $7,500 in catch-up contributions. That is a total of $30,500 that you can shield from taxes while it grows. For an IRA, you get an extra $1,000 on top of the standard $7,000 limit. Most people over 50 have no idea these rules exist. They contribute the standard amount and leave thousands of dollars in tax advantages on the table every year. If you can find a way to maximize these catch-up provisions, you can accumulate massive wealth in a short period. Imagine a man who turned 50 and started maximizing his catch-up contributions immediately by putting $38,500 into tax-advantaged accounts every year for 15 years. He retired with nearly $900,000. His friends, who did not know about these rules, had significantly less saved for their futures. You should contact your Human Resources Department this week and ask about catch-up contributions. Maximize these limits every single year that you are eligible. This is your legal advantage for starting late, and you must use it. Now, we need to discuss how your investment strategy must change when you are starting after 40. Time changes the rules of the game. When you are 25, you can afford to be 100% in stocks because you can wait out a decade-long market crash. At 45 or 50, you need a balance between growth and stability. If you are too conservative and put everything into bonds, your money will not grow fast enough to reach your goals. However, if you are too aggressive and the market crashes right before you retire, you could lose half of your wealth with no time to recover. The balance is everything. I recommend a strategy of 70% stocks and 30% bonds for those in their 50s. This provides enough growth to build wealth while offering a buffer against market volatility. You cannot afford to lose half of your portfolio at age 62 and wait 10 years for a recovery. But you also cannot afford to stay in cash and watch inflation eat your purchasing power. Use target date funds if you want the process to be automatic. These funds adjust your asset allocation as you get closer to your retirement date. It is a set-it-and-forget-it approach that works perfectly for busy professionals. Within that allocation, you must stick to index funds only. There is no room for stock picking or following hot tips when you are on a tight timeline. Starting late means you cannot afford the mistakes that come with trying to beat the market. Index funds like the S&P 500 give you a piece of the largest and most successful companies in the world. You get instant diversification and very low fees. Historically, the market has returned around 10% annually over the long term. That is more than enough to build a substantial nest egg if you are consistent. The biggest mistake late starters make is getting greedy because they feel behind. They try to find the next big technology stock or the next digital currency craze. They often end up losing 20 or 30% of their capital, which destroys years of progress. You do not need to beat the market to win. You just need to own the market and stay invested for the long run. Studies show that nearly 95% of professional investors fail to beat the index over 20 years. If the professionals cannot do it, you should not try to do it with your retirement savings. Boring investing is winning investing. Set up automatic monthly purchases of a total stock market index fund and let it work for you. While your investments are growing, you must also look at your income. In 2026, the cost of living has increased, but so has the value of your experience. If your current salary does not leave enough room for aggressive investing, you have a problem that hard work alone might not solve. You have two options. Stay at your current income and work longer, or increase your income and retire sooner. At 45 or 50, you have decades of skills, networks, and industry knowledge. You are not a fresh graduate competing on energy alone. You are an expert who can solve high-value problems. You must monetize that expertise aggressively. Negotiate your salary every 2 years using current market data. Do not just ask for a raise. Show the value you have created for the company. Consider job hopping if it means a 20 or 30% increase in pay. In the modern economy, loyalty to a single company often results in lower lifetime earnings. You can also look into consulting or freelancing in your field of expertise during the weekends. An extra $1,000 a month from a side hustle can become nearly $500,000 over 20 years if invested. Your main salary funds your life, but your side income can fund your entire retirement. One woman used her years of administrative experience to start a virtual assistant business for executives. That extra income allowed her to maximize her retirement accounts and retire 5 years earlier than she planned. Finally, you must be willing to downsize your lifestyle now, rather than waiting until retirement. Most people wait until they stop working to move to a smaller house or a cheaper area. That is backwards. If you downsize at age 45, you free up cash flow that can compound for 2 decades. If you wait until 65, you get zero compound growth on that money. Moving from an expensive home to a more modest one can save you over $1,000 a month in mortgage payments and taxes. That one move alone could create nearly $500,000 of wealth by the time you retire. Can you cut any of these significantly to fuel your comeback? It might feel like a sacrifice now, but it is actually a trade for your future freedom. You are trading a large house you do not need for a retirement where you never have to worry about money again. Strategic discomfort for 15 years leads to permanent comfort for 30 years. Please share this with a friend who might be feeling discouraged about their financial future. And do not forget to subscribe for more deep dives into wealth-building strategies for every stage of life. Let us summarize the comeback strategy for starting after 40 in 2026. Shift your mindset and realize that 20 years of intensity beats 40 years of hesitation. Maximize your catch-up contributions as soon as you turn 50. Maintain a balanced portfolio of 70% stocks and 30% bonds. Stick to low-cost index funds and avoid the temptation of stock picking. And downsize your lifestyle now to maximize your investment capital. The past is gone, and you cannot change what you did 10 years ago. But 20 years from now, you will be 65 years old, regardless of your choices. You can arrive at that age with a massive nest egg and total freedom. Or you can arrive there with nothing but regret. The choice is yours. Start your comeback today. Thank you for watching and for being part of this community. I look forward to hearing about your progress in the comments below. Stay focused and stay disciplined.